Welcome to the Stiff Truth. I'm Bob West. I'm here with Scott Casanova. Hope you guys are enjoying your quarantine and your lockdowns. It's been trying for us all, but please don't mistake our willingness and our natural nature to poke fun at things. That's just how we do it here at the Stiff Truth. By no means are we trying to degrade the seriousness of anything, but like anything, my humor is very, very dark, and I like to make fun of damn near everything. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing fantastic, Bob. And yeah, it's been a little trying this week. Things are getting a little scrambled. I don't know about you, but I think we talked about this in the last show, but I don't know. It just days are blending together. I'm having a hard time deciphering when it's okay to have an alcoholic beverage, sleep patterns.
Wait, hold on. You're insinuating that there's a time that it's not okay to have an alcoholic beverage?
I guess I did make that assumption. That's
potato, I guess.
Whatever, I guess.
Anyway, not to interrupt anymore. Go ahead.
No, things are just getting crazy. I mean, take for instance here, we have a couple of brainstorming sessions throughout the week to kind of plan for the show that's upcoming, right? And I don't think I've ever had a problem remembering topics and what the hell they meant up until this point. But looking at our notes from our conversations earlier this week, yesterday, I found myself scratching my head on what the fuck we were talking about or what we were trying to reference at one of the topics. And, maybe it was my fault that I didn't write down something after the topic that would maybe explain it a little bit here. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, some of that is because we have our meetings at 6, but
all right.
A couple hours after we started drinking.
That's that probably has a little bit to do with it. But again, it's just getting a little bit more. It's a little harder to remember certain things, I guess, from throughout the week. But yeah, let's just talk about it right now, Bob. I mean, I think we thought this was funny. I'm not sure exactly what the reference was, but one thing that I wrote down to talk about this week was COVID style. And I believe it was in reference to a story you were telling me, Bob, but I can't put my finger on it.
I can't think of the story either. I remember we were talking about it, and it was actually near the end of our meeting, and I had said something, and I was like, but COVID style. And then we started laughing, and then we're like, oh, we need to talk about all the things that are COVID style. But I don't remember what we were referencing or what the fuck that actually meant. But, I mean, I do know what COVID style is. I just can't think of what was so damn funny that made us, put it at the top of the list.
I know, and that's the other thing. It was such a funny and impactful story at the time that it didn't go like, hey, we're going to mention this at the end of the show. We pushed it all the way up to the top of what we were going to talk about right from the get-go. So that's what even kills me a little bit more, I guess, or a lot more, is I can't fucking remember it. So
I do love the note that you put in there, COVID style. What the fuck does this mean?
Well, I was thinking at least this time we'll remember what we're going to talk about when we reference COVID style. Yeah, I had to go ahead and throw that extra tidbit in there so this doesn't happen again. Lesson learned.
Well, I definitely have to go out and grocery shop COVID style tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'll be gearing up for that. That is something I'm not looking forward to at all. I haven't been out in the stores in quite some time. Have you gone out in the last few days?
Yeah, I went on Friday.
What was it like out there?
I think it was really the way it should be, I guess, if that makes sense. Not like all the time, but there was a lot of people masked up. There was a lot of people taking extra precaution to stay distance, keep their distance from me and vice versa. I noticed something pretty interesting that a couple weeks ago was the last time I went out before this, but they had installed plexiglass fronts in front of the cashiers at the grocery store. And there was like a little hole at the bottom there. I was really tempted to throw my dick in there, but I didn't.
Good for you. Way to hold back. Way to show some restraint.
I did. I was like, oh, it's a glory hole right here at the. But no, that was like just for you to put into like your little membership card, to get your savings or whatever, like the Smith's King Super, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. And then now at Costco, instead of the nice old gentleman, retired gentleman that, I don't know, at least that's what made a lot of them are at the
It's like
Costco.
a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah. But no, there was, when you have to show your receipt, obviously you have to, show your proof of purchase before you leave at Costco. Now they have a plexiglass window. It's like a booth. It looks like a little popcorn.
You don't just like take a picture on your phone and then text it to them.
I think that would be a little safer, but no, you literally just hold your receipt and put it against the plexiglass window, and they just look at it on the other side, and they're like, okay, like, what are they really doing? Are they really looking at every piece of inventory in my cart when I do that normally? I don't think they are. And now it's even more of like you bought shit here, get out of here. I don't know.
So what they're doing is they're basically, the whole point of that is they want to put a mark on your receipt. And then they want to catch any like big ticket items or stuff under the cart that might have gotten missed or whatever. But yeah, they do put a mark in your receipt so that you can't come back in there and get all your shit again and then leave. Right? And on the same receipt.
Okay.
So that's really what it is. It's just a way for them to keep costs down. By preventing theft and everything. But you actually, if you read the membership when you're signing up for Costco, it's actually in there that they're going to check your receipts every time you leave the store, and they're going to check your card every time you come into the store. Unlike Walmart, who just accuses everyone of stealing it as you leave. So that's nice. Because I've never signed an agreement saying that they could check every receipt that I have. So it's always nice to get accused of stealing when I'm with my family. That's fantastic. Thank you, Walmart.
I like that. Oh, well, that totally makes sense. I literally just thought they did that so they could draw a little smiley face on the back for my daughter every time. I thought it was kind of a little personal touch they were doing as you leave the store. No? I guess I'm way off? Okay. Well, whatever. But now they're doing it. They're doing
I get a smiley face when I'm not with them. They're like, oh, look at this poor fella. Here you go, buddy. A nice smiley face just for you.
Well, Bob, if you weren't always drooling and wearing your helmet out in public, people maybe wouldn't do that.
Well,
but you have to. I understand.
I do.
Doctor's orders.
I have a problem. I run into sharp corners. My house is full of duct-taped foam pads on all corners, those little pool foamies. I have those everywhere throughout my house.
And that's why you never see Bob's hands on the show. He's actually wearing a black straitjacket right now.
I've got mittens on.
And that's to protect him from, the sharp things in his house like silverware, the edges of yes, it's tough. Well, smiley faces are good, Bob. I'm glad you get them. But back to what we were just talking about here, I think that kind of is what people are doing right now is they are acting in COVID style. Now, another thing that I thought maybe COVID style could mean, but I'm not sure, it's the latest fashion trends right now. Dude, that's COVID style, dude. That's awesome. It's like a sweet, like just patterned mask that they got. But watch, you're going to see big time, Louis Vuitton and stuff like that's going to start manufacturing masks and things like that.
Oh, I can't wait to get my I don't even know what a Gucci mask or whatever.
Sure.
So I can
Let's go
roll
with that.
out with my $800 fucking mask. Just so that I can thumb my nose at the poor people.
Oh yeah. It's going to start happening. COVID style's the thing. COVID style's so hot right now. You'll see it, bro. You're going to see it coming. But yeah, other than that, I can't think of anything else COVID style would mean. But damn, I wish I remembered the story. It's tough, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, we should write that down. Of course, we have notes, and we still don't write it down, but that's good for us. So, kind of speaking of how Costco checks your receipts, YouTube also checks your shit apparently, because I'm assuming that all of our stiffies are up to the current show. That's just the kind of narcissistic personality that I'm beholden to. So obviously everyone has watched all the show. So last week we got into a little bit of trouble with one of our music choices for our break. We played some UB40's Red Wine, which is a
great
classic
track.
song. Love that song.
Am I going to get in trouble now for saying it's a great track?
I don't know. I'm wondering if I get in trouble by saying UB40 Red Wine.
Don't do it, dude. Don't do it. Don't do it for more than 14 seconds. That's for damn sure.
For real. So, yeah, we got in trouble. So, we may have to go back and dub over that Red Wine with some ZV, which will not hurt my feelings at all. But I was a little bit curious to know that we were, got a little slap on the wrist for that.
We sure did. We're now officially the bad boys of YouTube. We've got a rap sheet, bro.
It's a true story. We have that record. We will stand up to the man.
Yeah. So
the man won't get us down.
Remember now, when you disagree with us, Stiffies, we're hard. We'll probably retaliate in a really big way, and you don't want that, obviously, because we're proven criminals. But yeah, no, that was unfortunate. All kidding aside, there, it was kind of a bummer too, don't you think, Bob? Just like, oh, really, man? I mean, why you gotta attack us now? Just a little tease of UB40. It wasn't that. It's like somebody driving by and like they had it in their car with the windows up, and you still got in trouble for it. That's how I feel, though.
Yeah, it did kind of feel like a personal attack. So now we're unable to monetize that show completely. So it's up for debate if we want to, make our millions of dollars off of that show, or if we want to just let that thing ride.
Oh, the struggle is real that we have, Bob. Let me tell you what, man. That's great stuff. Wow.
So we'll try not to do that again. But if we do, I just want you guys to know that we're taking the hit and putting a free episode on if we choose to do that again.
Yeah, but just so you know, we probably are never going to do that again.
All of our episodes are free.
Yes. Cat out of the bag. Well, so talking about something that's out of the bag here, I think, or should be coming out of the bag, and I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat here, I guess, a little bit, Bob, is I don't know if you've been paying attention here to, well, I'm sure you have. I'm sure everybody's been paying attention to it, but the coronavirus numbers out of China seem dramatically off, and I know you've seen a lot about this on the
No,
news.
it's 100%, dude. They haven't had a case in like 2 months.
Yeah, for sure, right? Because everybody, everybody agrees that the CCP is the most stand-up government in the entire world. But Bob, what are your thoughts on potentially like Chinese cover-up here, a conspiracy? Are they using this as some kind of bioweapon here? What are your thoughts?
I have a bunch of thoughts. Sometimes.
Well, relevant to what I just said.
Oh, that. So there's a couple of things. First, I think, yes, China's numbers have forever been off, even when they were first at 80,000. That was, like 2 months ago, for real. It was like 2 months ago. And they haven't moved, like, at all. Right.
Sure.
But then I think they quickly realized once it started hitting the fan, and I think they realized this last year before they ever let the World Health Organization know, and that if we can kind of keep this one under wraps and just kind of let this one hit the world, we might have an opportunity to catch the U.S. with their pants down and try to establish more of a dominant economic position on them.
Oh, wait. That's why everybody's hoarding toilet paper. They don't want to be caught with their pants down. I see what happened. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
I got
all they have to do is wear the Stiff Truth T-shirt, and you don't even need toilet paper. It just comes out clean every time. I'm just...
Oh, I gotta love those clean. What do we call those? I don't know. They're just clean.
They're called ghost poopies.
Ghost poopies.
Like, you don't even think it happened, and then you go to check, and it's like it never happened at all.
I like that. Ghost poopies. That makes it cute. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So, also the same thing with Russia right now. I think they're doing the exact same thing because Russia, what do they have, like 1,000 cases or something? I mean, right.
Sure. They're right next to China. Sure. Okay. Right.
And they're like actively one of their trading partners, and they sell oil to China. Like, it doesn't even make sense. That relationship is running strong. So there's a lot of cover up with these countries that have state-controlled media, and there would be in America too if we didn't have our free press.
Yes.
Right. If we didn't have accountability, we'd be hiding our numbers too, because we would keep the American public more at peace with what's happening.
Our economy.
By ignorance, we would be protecting the economy. We'd be not any. It's as a matter of national security. We could keep all that information internal so that we wouldn't lower our posture knowingly to the rest of the world. We'd absolutely do it. But we have the free press here because America. That's why. So we have to be legit with our numbers. And the only thing we're not legit with is that our numbers are much higher. as far as cases, because we're not testing everyone, and there's plenty of people that are just staying home. They're getting sick. They're getting better. They're never getting tested, and that's that. So
Well, that's a damn shame because, like we were talking about before, we could sure use those antibodies in that plasma. So
right.
we really need to ramp up testing here. But anyways, back to China.
China.
Yeah. China.
No, I think they actually started getting all the numbers on their end, and they completely weaponized the misinformation campaign at that point.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And something that really started to boil my blood, man, as I was watching news just this morning, actually, and they were talking about this timeline, right? And like it goes all the way back to early December, dude. Early December, with the Chinese already doing some not the Chinese people, the Communist Party of China, that what was it? I think, first week of January. Of course, they had stuff going all the way back to December 10th with knowledge of a disease, sitting down with and who I think the World Health Organization has kind of been China's back pocket anyway, so I don't even know how much I trust them, which really sucks. But also, they had a meeting with them in mid-December saying that this could not be spread person to person, which was obviously blatantly a lie, because what they did right after that is they ordered 2 billion units of PPEs, right? Face masks, protective clothing. Who the fuck orders basically protective mask for almost every citizen in your country right after you tell the World Health Organization that this can't be transmitted person to person? That really got me going, especially with now we've got this complete shortage of masks. China already makes 50% of PPEs and masks and things like that in general. So for them to order an extra couple of billion, that now places the rest of the world at a dramatic shortage. And again, all this is by telling everybody, hey, we've got like a couple of cases of this in Wuhan. It's very, very, it doesn't transmit person to person. It's not going to be a big deal. And then look what happened, right? So that's craziness. I think China too, and I think with this is all said and done, and I know that might be a while, I think there should be a fucking price to pay for the Chinese government. I think all the other world powers should like come together and charge the Chinese government with some kind of, I want to say just fucking crime against humanity, global humanity, man, for what they did. Maybe they were trying to get at us, but look what's happened. I mean, look at Italy. Look at Iran.
I definitely think that there should be some sanctions going on here with China and Russia and any country that's been withholding their numbers, especially early on, because that withholding of information in December gave us an outlet to not react here. Right?
Yeah.
Have we heard how devastating it was coming up, we would have been able to react a little bit better. I don't know if we would have. I can't necessarily give the administration that much credit, but we should have been able to, either way.
We would have had the capability, which is
yes.
something we were stripped of by China with this misinformation campaign.
Right, and just like with anything, it's who follow the money, right? Who's going to benefit most out of this? As far as if China, what are they going to get out of withholding that information? Okay, well, our economy's tanking, right? We didn't get a chance to prepare our hospitals. We didn't get a chance to bolster up our defenses to take this oncoming onslaught, which we could have, and we could have taken it fairly in stride. And prepped and had things ready to go. Companies already retrofitting their machine and equipment to make ventilators and building hospitals, and we could have been able to handle this really, really well. So what they did was the whole thinking is let's let it just hit them, and then all the countries in the world that their economy's tanking because of China's massive fucking size and their massive economy of scale, then they're like, all right, guys. They come like Rumpelstiltskin, right? Oh, you need help. Well, I've got money for you. I will loan you money. And then they start fucking, getting loans out to all these, major countries in the world. They once someone buys into you, they have a piece of you. Right? And I know that's like me kind of putting on my tinfoil hat here, but it's as simple as follow the money.
Money is power, too, right?
Follow the money. Who gains the benefit from this strategy? And then you think, okay, well, you could benefit from this strategy. And if you could benefit from it, then people are. It's just that simple.
Yeah, it really is that simple, dude. And that's the other thing, dude, is if you think about it just in general, who has the second largest economy right behind us anyways? I mean, they're literally knocking on our door, and I think they saw this as an opportunistic time to go ahead and put us on our knees. And just by outside of what you said too, with other countries, I mean, literally just over topple us and take over as the number one world economy and kind of leave ours dwarled and just faint of what it used to be.
Keep an eye on how many of these restaurants that come and start opening back up. Keep an eye on how many of those are going to be foreign owned.
Yeah, definitely.
Just saying.
Well, I always keep an eye on that because I'm a xenophobe, but I mean, now I'm just going to be even more heightened about that.
Well, let's keep an eye on that too, because I need to know the authentic restaurants that I need to go to.
Yeah, usually I want to make sure there's Asians working in the Asian restaurants that I go to. If I'm going to an Indian restaurant, I want somebody coming out that's Indian. It always just makes me feel better.
Yeah, you don't want to go into a place called like Vietnam 28, and then you go in there and it's just like a bunch of Mexican nationals. You're like, wait a minute.
You know,
that's not right.
I don't know what they're trying to pull. I know this is completely just off the radar here, but I don't know what they're trying to pull at places like Benihana's and those other sushi tepping grills when the cooks are Mexican, but they're even trying to act like they have broken English like an Asian guy. You're all, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? I can see like the Santeria like tattoos and stuff and all this. It's like, come on, man. It's like you're not fooling anybody there, bro. I'm still gonna have this. I'm still gonna have the steak and lobster, bro. But you can just go ahead and talk normal.
There's so many things I could probably get in trouble with right there, but I'm not going to because I've matured as a radio personality.
Since last week.
You know who hasn't matured? And that's some of the spineless pussy-ass governors that we have in this country that are afraid to make their decision. And this one really gets me fired up, Scott.
Here we go, Bob. Here we go. Ready?
I know.
Go!
I know. If you are sitting around and you're a governor and you're waiting for the White House to take care of your people while your fucking people are dying and your nurses and doctors and technicians are risking their fucking life every day, and you're, well, I don't want to do anything because the White House didn't say that I could. Why the fuck are you in politics? If you can't make a decision and put your name on the line and your legacy on the line and try to do something for your state, you need to get the fuck out of politics. You need to get the fuck out of being any sort of leadership.
Are you talking to me?
What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't think Bob is really passionate about this one at all. Obviously, this is just a really lazy topic of ours. But no, I agree 100%, man. I mean, look, here's the thing, too. Your job as governor, and I'm not going to act like I'm some kind of political science whiz here or anything but I do know your job as governor is
play one on the radio. Gotcha.
Exactly. Your job as governor is to take care of your state, independent actually of what the federal government is saying. That's why you have states' rights, right? So these guys that are sitting there kind of looking at the White House for cues, and they're should be smart enough to read the writing on the wall with neighboring states that are going through mass shutdowns, lockdowns, closing of all mass gatherings. I mean, literally, dude, we got Ron DeSantis here in Florida that reopened the beaches in Florida, and he's leaving all places, houses of worship open because they're essential business. Now, if they're essential business, awesome. Let's start taxing them, but that's not the case. So, I mean, you got that. You got the same thing in Georgia, too. Beaches are open right now. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a place where it could be potentially where people go in masses and gather. I don't know.
Yeah, I once saw a few other people on the beach when I was there.
Yeah, usually there's more than just me standing there with my dick in my hand, but I don't know. That's just me.
These resorts are really nice. How come no one comes down to the water? Very weird.
Are there sharks in here or something? You know, but honestly, even like shark attacks and stuff like that scare, or like sightings of sharks. places, the beach will be empty for like a week or whatever. And I know there's a lot of revenue that comes in from tourism and, from beaches and stuff like that, and beach communities. But seriously, they'll shut down the beach for a couple of weeks until they get back out there, check to make sure there's not like a school of shark that's living around there. But no, there's the biggest crisis that we've ever lived through, right, in our lifetimes is happening right now. And we've got governors like, hold on, no, stand. We are not locking down our state. That is unconstitutional. I will offer prayers and thoughts. You know what I mean? Come on.
I would say I would offer this for I'm only hearing it from the far conservative side at that, is that, well, you're infringing on our constitutional rights. And I would say this. You fucking giving me your god bullshit disease is infringing on my fucking constitutional rights as well. So if you can figure out how to fucking keep your shit to yourself and we can all go out and you can have your own Rona to yourself, then I agree. You can fucking do that. But don't come at me with a fucking problem unless you have a fucking solution. Right? Other than that, you're just pissing in the wind and watching everyone, wanting everyone to stare at it. That's you, taint fucking Reeves in Mississippi. You're not going to pray this disease away. This is a real thing.
Yeah, look, it didn't work for my gayness. It's not going to work for the coronavirus. Seriously, dude. Like that. Taint Reeves is his new name. Bob, you coined that one. I like it. But we want the Stiffies to really get it out there because this guy is a taint, okay?
Hashtag Taint Reeves forever.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, seriously, man. But you're right. You are right. Right now, unfortunately, the few states in question, right, are all hardcore conservative governors, right, in the South. I mean, that's kind of where they're at. So I'm really surprised.
What got them into this mess is fucking politicizing this whole thing to begin with. Well, I don't want to shut down my state and do what's right for the people and their health because I'm worried about fucking what my party's going to think of my decision. Mm-hmm. That first off is, God, how much of a pussy can you be if you're going to put your ticket above your responsibilities to your constituents, right? That's the first thing. Or that's what gets you into this mess to begin with. And then to further politicize it by start adding we got to look out for each other's rights. No. In a time of crisis, we don't get rights. I'm sorry to say that, but let's roll it back to 9/11. Anyone ever heard of the Patriot Act? Yeah, that's motherfucker's still going, by the way.
Hey, that's a great movie with Harrison Ford, by the way.
Look it up, Stiffies. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, roll it on back to 2001 and check out the Patriot Act. Look what Bush did in the time of crisis. Look how our rights mattered then and to this day. How our rights of Fourth Amendment and, illegal search and seizure and listening to our fucking phone calls and shit like that. Yeah. We don't have near as many rights as y'all all think. So let's just, calm the fuck down and get past this virus so we can get back to church.
Seriously. I love that. I love what you just said there. That was great. That was good stuff, man, because they need to hear this. And I think if you got up and told them in the voice that you just used, with the face you used, man, they might not listen to you.
Yeah, no one listens to me. I'm used to it.
No, but you're 100% right, man. It's really sad that people in times like this don't get it. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't get it until it's too late, or it's just they're just way behind the game now. I hope and I do hope that Florida doesn't get a really bad backlash for the population there, because I have a lot of family members that live in Florida. So I'd really like to see that stay. Yeah, we got it. Stay safe. Safe.
Come on, get it together, Florida. People already don't want to go there anyway because you're Florida.
Oh my God.
But at least if you could try to get a handle on your shit, people might actually want to come there. The best thing in Florida shouldn't be fucking Disney World. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry to get on my soapbox, but in the end, I have a platform, so I will use it.
Well, you know what? More people should be on soapboxes these days because we got to stay clean, right? So
we do. And lather, folks. Apparently, lather is the key more than the type of soap. So get in there and stay clean on your soapbox and lather.
I will tell you, that's one thing that I'm so glad that I've had years at practice is lathering because, yeah, you're right. That's the key to the hand washing right now, and I lather like nobody's business. So, just thought I'd toot my own horn there. Thanks.
So here's another one that I don't quite remember. So maybe you can refresh me on this next topic. Do you remember how this came up?
No,
No, right?
no. It's funny that we didn't pick this one out, but yeah, it's interesting. Again, our pets. So I think we're just. I don't know how. Let's just go. You know what? Let's just ad lib it. Let's just go with it. Okay. My pets. I don't know if they're doing really well in quarantine because they're acting like fucking fools. They're acting like fools a lot more than usual. For instance, my black cat. Nothing wrong with him. I have two black cats actually, but my older black cat. For some odd reason, the other day I'm working right, and I get up and I'm like, I smell shit, like really bad shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I'm kind of like, I can't pinpoint it. Right?
Did
I'm
you like
going
smell your fingers and make sure?
yeah. I was, and my first thing was like, did I like shit my pants or something like that? I was like, what's going on? I was like,
I was a drink yesterday. Shit.
it was like there was a shit cloud following me around, is what it felt like. But at the end of the day, I finally pinpointed it, and my cat, like just like randomly, was taking a shit and like by my fireplace, and just taking a big, nasty, stinky, smelly, bubbly shit. And I was like, "That's great." And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he runs the fuck off. I was like, "What the fuck was that all about, man?" Hey, do something with your screen, Bob. Right now, it looks like I've had 20 drinks.
Oh, I'm gonna fix it. Hi, family. Okay.
There we go.
And we're back.
Woo, man. That's like just doing a line of Coke after having a bunch of beers. You know what I mean? I'm back. Here we go. But no, so yeah, so I don't know what the fuck was up with that. I check his litter box. It's completely clean. I'm like, okay. You know, and my wife is like, well, maybe he's sick. And I was like, well, nothing since then, nothing after that. He just decided to take this big, nasty, bubbly, diarrhea shit type deal right next to the fireplace. So that was one thing that was just like, why did he do that? I think this is his way of lashing out during his quarantine, because let's face it, cats love to be by themselves a lot. So now they're like, what the fuck are you guys doing in my house like all day long? This is annoying.
Yeah, my dog's been loving it. So, for you Stiffies that don't know, I have a horse dog. So, you know, he's smaller than a horse, but he's bigger than a dog.
When I heard horse dog, I just went somewhere else.
Like horse dong or what?
Yeah, like,
tell me about it, buddy. So I have this huge black lab with like crazy white eyes. He's just a weird looking, funny dog. I don't know if he's really smart or really dumb. I can't tell yet. And I've had it for years. You know, it's kind of like my son.
And he's a stiffy too. He's going to listen to this, isn't he?
Just kidding, Darren. You're so smart. No, I mean, it's weird because he totally takes advantage of everyone being here.
Yeah,
He's just like, oh, look, the little one's up. The little one will let me outside, and he'll go to the door, right? And then he goes to the door, and he gets by the arm of the couch, and he just does this. He puts his head on the couch and just stares at you.
Aww,
until you let him out, right? And then you let him out, and then he basically turns around and comes right back in and starts scratching at the door to come back in. Mm-hmm. And then it's out and in, out and in, out and in, out and in, out and in. I want to give him a doggy door, but like I'm afraid of civil unrest, so I'm too paranoid to have my house that exposed.
Yeah, well, as we know from previous episodes, Bob does make bombs in his spare time, so that's always good stuff.
Didn't we just go over the Patriot Act? No, yeah. I just got flagged. Thanks. Thank you, buddy.
Man. Well, you know, that's what happens, man. You thought you had rights. Sorry.
Well, I did have rights, but it got flipped with this coronavirus. You know what else would be interesting if it got flipped? Pence and Trump.
Ooh.
How about that?
I do like that. I do like that a lot.
What if Trump was the vice president?
You know, it's interesting. I've been thinking about that a lot when I watch Pence speak, right? And I think this is kind of what it was for me. He's just smoother. He's just a better speaker. He's more polite. He's more professional. I haven't seen him lose his cool or even make a bad, like, unagreeable face, even when Pelosi was sitting there fucking, making martinis and fucking ripping up notes and shit, like during the impeachment hearings and stuff. Even then, like when they're sitting in really close proximity, always very just cool, collective. Trump would have been making all kinds of nasty faces at her.
Yeah, he has great composure, right?
Yeah, fantastic composure.
Either that or he has a hint of Downs. I don't know.
All right. Thank you, folks.
This is a great show. I hope you enjoyed the Stiff Truth while it was aired.
This is a real fun experiment that we've done for a few months. No, but I do think you're absolutely right. He's got good composure, almost as good as your complexion. Not quite, but very, very good composure. And it is very interesting to me. I'm like, wow, how did this guy not get like a nod over Trump? I mean, obviously Trump picked him as a running mate. And of course, he's not going to pick himself to be the vice president. But can you imagine the flip?
He probably asked.
Yeah. I'm sure he did.
So, if I'm my own vice president and I die, can I still be president?
Yes, you can, Trump. Well, no, I think that's really interesting. I mean, if you think about it, dude, I mean, people would be making fun of him left and right. And this is really crazy. I mean, not because he's he's Pence or anything like that, because everybody makes fun of the president every time there's a new president, right? SNL like has somebody that does impersonations.
Of course.
And blah 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 blah.
It's you get roasted for your fame.
But what would be different, I think, is I don't nearly think that the press would be having so much of a field day all the time. Look, they've got unlimited stuff to report on, especially the left-leaning news, right? About Trump did this, Trump did that, Trump's horrible. Look what's Trump doing now. Look what Trump tweeted. Look what he said. Look what his wife is wearing. Oh my God, this is so unprofessional. I mean, they got endless things that they can talk about because he's such an easy target, right? Would it be the same with Pence and his wife? Does he have a wife or does he have a boyfriend?
He's not both.
That's right. He's in politics. I forgot.
So he wouldn't be near as easy of a target.
I don't think so, man.
Well, he wouldn't have had this flashy playboy lifestyle from the 80s and early 90s in New York that Trump had. I mean, all Trump was, woman to woman to woman, even if he was with a wife or not, he was just always out there. I mean, interesting, he was always partying, but he doesn't drink. So.
Yeah. Well, I think he's
like Bill Cosby was always partying, but he didn't do lewds.
Yeah. No,
he didn't.
No, he didn't do lewds. But he brought him to the party, didn't he?
Stay vigilant, buddy.
He'll bring the party favors, but he's not going to partake. He partakes in after the party favors kick in.
No, he knows for sure what can happen if you take too many of those things.
Yeah, sure does, right? Wake up with your pants around your ankles with no toilet paper. I don't know what that's all about.
I know.
Tough times, man. But no, I agree with you. I agree with you there a lot. I think it'd be so interesting to rewind, flip the script, and see, not now, obviously, because it's fucking coronavirus all over the news, but for the past, call it almost 5 years or whatever, right? After Trump announced that he was going to run, if that was flipped, right? I don't think nearly we would have so much polarizing news. Maybe they would actually report on stuff that mattered a little bit more. I don't know. What do you think about that?
There wouldn't have been a whole bunch of nonsense about a wall, right?
No.
So that was literally tied up in and Bill negotiating, right? When it was the annual budget or whatever, the government got shut down right after he took office. I guess it was in the second year. And the government shut down for 30, 40 days or something like that. And that was over the wall. Well, I'm going to shut down because there's no language in here to give my money for the wall. Well, that wouldn't have even happened under Pence because pimps could give two shits about a wall.
No, yeah, he could give two shits about a wall. I imagine. I don't know. I honestly, before he was the head of the task force for the coronavirus, I really didn't see a lot of press conferences with him exclusively talking for a long period of times. He's quite an enigma to me, honestly, where he stands on a lot of things. I know he stands. Yeah, I know where he stands on obviously homosexuality and things like that because he's a very hardcore Christian guy.
You do know, huh?
Yeah.
Personally, for sure. I gotcha.
There's some speculation out there, but yeah.
Read between those lines. All right. I gotcha.
Well, I don't know, man. I think it'd just be really, really interesting. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't know a whole lot about the guy. And it's honestly interesting for me to say this, hearing myself say this actually, because there was a time when I was watching the news and I was like, man, these people need to quit trying to get Trump out of office. Do they realize what happens if Trump is out of office? Then we got to deal with Mike Pence. Like, it was a scary thing, And that's only because of maybe just his highly religious, very, very conservative outlook on some things that I just don't agree with. But I'm kind of seeing him now maybe as maybe a better choice. I don't know if I can even say that right now. But I just did.
You did. I was just thinking that. Yeah, I don't know. He's just much more measured. He's much more of a refined speaker, a refined politician. He doesn't go and say things that paints himself into a corner and like ruins negotiation power in public. Right? He keeps that to himself, and he's not a blurter. And like, Trump should learn from Pence and how he handles himself, and Trump should learn from all the politicians he's been around with for the last few years. And he won't. Like, his narcissism and his ego just makes him believe that he really is the smartest person in the room at all times, and he doesn't need to learn anything because he's the best at everything. And I don't know, but I don't know if you ever watched Kung Fu back in the day. Remember that old show, Kung Fu?
Yes.
Okay. So there's just this line in that show that I'll never forget, and it was, for you to learn, you must first empty your cup, right? Well, Trump's cup's always fucking full. He can't learn anything ever because he always knows everything.
I emptied my cup twice before the show just to make sure I was focused.
I can't wait to empty my cup in a few minutes. I'll tell you that. Speaking of, we have a great stiff drink coming up. One we haven't done yet. I'm very excited. We did a little tester yesterday to make sure that we're good, and I think we hammered that down. So I'm very excited for that coming up. But
it's interesting that you say that. Just to interject, and I apologize if I was about to interrupt you there, but we haven't even really talked about the stiff truth topic really at all. We haven't even brought it up. It's another what I think pretty fun one, but this one can be pretty controversial. So
yeah, no, I think people are going to chime in, even though you guys never do.
We do ask for feedback, but we don't really get it.
So if you do have your own feedback from the Stiff Truth, please let us know on Facebook or on YouTube.
You will get mentioned on the show.
You will, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, if it's good enough, we might bring you on the show.
Yeah.
So, for those of you that want to come stand in our soapbox with us.
Yeah, yeah. So can you guys imagine that? The Stiffies out there, can you picture being invited to the show? Wouldn't that be amazing? Knowing that there's about 30 or 40 people listening.
At least. Dozens.
That makes it sound like even more. It's like there's going to be dozens and dozens. Oh, not too many dozens, but dozens of people.
At least 2 or 3, maybe even 4 dozen.
Yeah, so exciting stuff, guys. Exciting
stuff. Any given week, your message will be heard by a couple people. So, speaking of messages being heard, we did want to circle around and eventually talk about some of the more controversial people that like to get their messages out there.
Ooh.
And it always seems that the more the farther left or right you are in the political spectrum, the more that you get heard, because radical begets headlines, right?
Yes,
so
it does.
If you say something ridiculous, then the news is like, "Oh my God, we need to report on this." Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, if like the 1% of the people believe that in the respective parties, do you really need to report on that? But then again, the more outrageous the headline is, the higher the ratings and the better the clickbait, right? So that's kind of the world we live in, a world where AOC and Bernie dominate left headlines, and
sure.
And Matt Gaetz and Rand Paul can clear out some outrageous, conservative headlines. So, what do you think about these 1 or 2 percenters and their super loud voice that we have lately?
It's, you know, it makes total sense that they're getting a lot of press and a lot of attention, like you were just saying, with more, let's just call it, I guess, extreme views, right? I don't know necessarily if they're outlandish or maybe some of them are, unfeasible or unrealistic or maybe even impossible to accomplish. But there's definitely, I think there's a lot to these extremes, which is kind of further driving more polarization, really, right, in politics. And I don't think a lot of these ideas are really thought through all the way to the end with some of these things too. And then all the repercussions and aftermath that can happen from a lot of these extreme ideas. For instance, the Green New Deal, right? That, again, is one of those things where it sounds fantastic, right? And I know there's probably some people that listen to us, the Stiffies out there, that are behind this. In a grand scheme of things, I think it would be really amazing to be very eco-friendly and have our entire transportation industry, manufacturing, all very clean, just really putting a cap on what's happening to the, to just heightened levels of pollution, and hence what that, kind of turns into when you talk about climate change and things like that. But at the end of the day, just that, some of the things in that deal specifically are just not feasible, and that would literally halt the American infrastructure and economy, even more so than the coronavirus is right now.
Yeah, it'd be similar. It'd last longer.
Yeah, it lasts a lot longer. I mean, literally, like trying to remove everybody and everything off of crude oil right now is simply not feasible. It's simply not feasible.
And honestly, I think it's kind of a balance, right? It's how long do we got, right?
Yeah.
On the scale of, fucking up the earth, right? How long do we have to fix this problem?
I don't know, about 5, 6, 30?
Nice. Versus or just like the rip the Band-Aid off style approach. And I think that's kind of what they're talking about with the Green New Deal, is just like, let's just fucking take our lumps and just do it all at once. But if the whole world's not doing it all at once, then you're going to be an island on the global economy, and it's going to take us a long time to recover from that ripping of the Band-Aid, right? We'd have to be a very nationalistic approach there and do everything in-house, because we're not going to be as big of a part of the global market anymore, because we're not dealing with the trade as much as the whole world is still weaning itself off, right?
Yeah.
And then again, it's just like, well, then how much of an impact globally does it even make environmentally? When it's just America, when we all know that fucking India and China are the ones polluting most of the fucking pollution.
Yeah.
So is it worth it in that? Or I don't know. It's very tricky.
Yeah. So these things, they, like you were just saying, though, they can, in my mind, and this goes for the other side too, right? I haven't even started there, and I don't want to just pick on AOC and Bernie here, but they're easier. I mean, with this Green New Deal especially, it's kind of the easy example for me. But yeah, for these kind of things to really be feasible and not basically bankrupt our country and just put everything to a screeching halt, you're going to have to do these things in phases, and you're going to have contingency plans for the people that you're putting out of work with each phase. Because let's face it, right? When you turn off coal and you turn off gas and you turn off this and that, I mean, yeah, those are good things in the long run for the world, but it's also going to put millions and millions of people out of work and out of professions. So there's got to be some kind of plan on what are we going to do in this new way of creating energy where these people can be employed again, right?
We're going to have like crossover training to switch like oilmen and get them trained up so they can go work on like solar arrays.
Wait, did you just say oiled men?
Yes, the oil men.
Man, hold on. I gotta go back to prayer real quick. I'll be back.
But yeah, we would have to have these to minimize the impact of that. We would have to have these training opportunities, and then and since it's not a communist country, they might say no and want other training opportunities. So we'd have to kind of leverage that and find it in a broad spectrum to try to get these folks smoothly transitioned away and to work at the same time of transitioning away from the tech, right, and into a new tech.
For instance, too, another one. If we're not going to use airplanes anymore, right? That's in the Green New Deal, eliminating that kind of transportation. Okay, first of all, how the fuck are we going to get around? That's just my big question mark there before we even get into behind it. But that whole industry, there is an entire workforce of pilots and flight attendants and flight crew and ground transportation crew and all that kind of stuff that will be completely out of work. So again, there's I don't think there's any of this thought, because what they're actually doing with this deal and other things too, other extreme ideas like this and these kind of paradigm shifts in our society is what do we do? What do we do with everybody that's affected by it? I know it sounds like a really good thing to do, but it's going to cause more harm than good in the short term. And can we handle that short-term harm that it's going to cause after things are said and done? So.
Yeah, because I don't really care to live in a world that doesn't have jets, so the environment's being saved, but then we have to fucking Thunderdome it up to go to the grocery store.
Exactly.
That's kind of fruitless, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to sink down into anarchy just because we saved the environment.
And don't get me wrong, I'm really digging the COVID styles that are out right now, but I don't want it to be a thing of the norm.
Yeah, I was gonna put some spikes on my mask and paint it black.
I think that'd be cool. You wouldn't scare anybody at all.
Yeah, and then
that's my gasoline, bitch.
Wear like some big goat fur skinned bottoms when I go out and combat boots.
Just straight up.
Do it up. What about on the other side? What about on the conservative far side?
Well, okay. And here's something that let's just face it too. There's some, and we could even talk about people like Mr. Taint Reeves in this category too, because literally, if you are going to sit here and say that you can pray away the virus, wow, that's all I got to say. I don't even know if I have to say much more for most educated people out there, but I don't know if anybody knows, but prayer does not work against the virus. I know there's probably people that are going to disagree with me. So, I mean, there's that extreme, right, where literally...
Well, if you pray long enough, a scientist will fix the virus eventually.
Yeah.
If your prayers will have worked, right?
Yeah, if you pray for 2-3 years, they'll probably come out with a vaccine if you pray for it hard enough. You're absolutely right, Bob. It's all about timing, and one prayer is usually not good enough. I think God kind of looks at this as like a bank, right? So he wants a lot of prayer put in the box, a lot of deposit of prayer before he actually does anything. It's not just
it's kind of tough, and this is probably for another show. But if it's positive and it's a miracle, then it's the miracle of God, right?
Yeah,
sure. If it's negative, then it's God's will.
Well, right now the coronavirus is God's will. God is obviously very pissed off with the world, so he's unleashing the coronavirus. But silver lining, if you pray hard enough, you're going to make it through this, because that's God's grace, right?
And if you didn't make it through it, you won't be alive to tell the tale.
No. But no, just getting away from that, there's other things on the right too. Like, let's talk about Rand here. Now, I actually am a fan of Rand Paul for how he blindly stands up for the Constitution, but sometimes he does this at the fault of making progress on things. For instance, the stimulus package. Yes, I get it, Rand. You're the only guy that realizes that we are billions and trillions of dollars in debt to foreign countries, and that eventually is going to probably bite us in the ass very hardcore. But he literally delayed the passing of the stimulus package to make that point again, and he makes that point every time they go to pass a major spending bill. So it's kind of like, dude, we get it. I respect that. Now's not the time or the place. You know what I mean?
No, I get it, and it's none of us want to spend money, but here we are. Here we find ourselves, right? And even though the money that was spent, I mean, we could probably argue all day about the content of the stimulus package, because, there's a bunch of shit that's fucked up about that bill number 3 for Corona. But overall, it's action is better than no action. At least they're trying something, right? I don't think that this let's give everyone $1,200 is going to do a whole lot.
It's a nice little temporary Band-Aid, you know. That's about it.
I mean, by the time you get it, it'll pay your rent or your mortgage from like 2 months ago.
Yeah, it might pay my court fees for my eviction, you know.
Or depending on where you live, half.
Yeah.
Half of your mortgage, a third of it, a quarter of it.
Yeah.
You know, people in New York are probably like, what the fuck am I going to do with this?
Buy a cheeseburger?
$1,200? Cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. What is that? Like, like that's your rent for like 4 days?
Right. No, that's like maybe a week's worth of rent. And like, that's like, in Brooklyn. I looked at the housing market in Brooklyn about 6 months ago, and man, it's like $500 for just like a normal 1,300 square foot house, 3-bedroom, $500,000. That's the starting point, and they're like shitholes. Like that is not a good house.
No.
But it's a good location. I guess you're in fucking Brooklyn. I guess that's a good location. But I don't know. But kind of digressing here. But yeah, a lot of the country's just like, that's not going to do anything. And then Pelosi, as she was shaking and adjusting her dentures, I mentioned it. She was fucking, this isn't enough, guys. We need to start working on something else. And now they're arguing about that, and it's just like, guys, we need to come up with the plan and disbursement plan. So that way you're like, oh, we're going to get you guys money. But you'll have it by September.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that going to do? I mean, the Thunderdome will already be built by September.
Yeah, seriously, man.
So I don't understand, like, they're trying to do stuff, but they're not like working out the logistics, and then they're not making it feasible or actionable. If a decision's not actionable, then a decision hasn't been made.
Yeah, it's true.
Write that down.
They're throwing out ideas. They're basically throwing out ideas. But no, I mean, and that's just one. You are not a huge fan though of Matt.
Mr. Gaetz?
Yeah.
Oh, I just think he's a grandstander. That's it. I mean, personally, fine. He's probably like awesome to have a drink with. So, Mr. Gaetz, you want to have a stiff drink with us? Come on up.
Yeah.
Probably good times. I just think he takes every opportunity to single himself out, as do a lot of the House of Representatives. Let's be honest, because they're only, House of Representatives. It's not like they're senators. So they're all trying to make a name for themselves to become a senator so that they could be a viable presidential candidate one day. I think that's most every person at that level's aspirations, for the majority. So a lot of the House of Representatives always kind of take those instances to get the limelight. I just think that you could do better by being a good politician instead of being a good news cycle person and winning the news cycle. And I think that's lost on a lot of people, Trump included. He's really concerned with winning the news cycle, even if he's just fucking creating chaos just to get his name in the headlines.
Sure. What's really interesting, you said it before too, we're talking about these extremes, right? You hear a lot from Matt, you hear a lot from Rand, right? You always hear these guys, and you hear a lot from AOC, you hear a lot from Bernie.
There's always a mic in their face.
Yeah. Now, did anybody besides people living in South Bend, Indiana, even know who Pete Buttigieg was before he dropped his hat in the race?
No, only no, pretty much only the people. I don't know how he got such national recognition.
No, I don't either. But my point is he is not far right or left. He's your corporate.
No, he's moderate.
Yeah, he's your kind of like still big business Democrat. And
I hate to say it, but if he wasn't gay, he'd probably already be like having the nomination.
You think?
I do.
You think that stopped him?
Well, because Biden and Buttigieg have almost the same platform. They're both moderates, and same with Klobuchar, right? They're basically the same candidate with different faces. Their platform is all the same.
So you're saying Buttigieg would not get the African-American vote as much as him because of that fact, maybe? And he would not get as much as the Southern vote, potentially, too, in general?
Well, and that's the thing. That's why...
the Bible Belt?
That's it. It's because of his sexuality. I think he wasn't as viable of a candidate, and that's what ended up hurting him when he started getting down into the South. Again, with the whole the 1%, circling back to the 1%, right? So AOC, Bernie, Rand Paul, they're kind of like all in their political spectrums or whatever, which they're not actually representing a huge chunk of society. They're representing a huge chunk of the media cycle, but that's it. And I think that's why Biden's popularity is so high, because I think him being a moderate Democrat and a conservative Democrat is the reason why he went to the South and just wiped the floor with Bernie Sanders' platform.
He did. That's true. No,
that was very insightful, Scott.
No, I was just reflecting on that, but it's like, no, he really did, and I think you're right, and I think you're right 100% there too, and I guess it makes sense that we really don't hear a lot from these moderate guys unless they're in the position that they are, like Joe Biden, right? And the other thing I think, but let's face it too, I think the thing that Biden has, though, that Buttigieg doesn't have, nor Bernie, is he also has, and then again, this is arguable on both sides, but he also can stand on that he was part of a presidency that was, a legacy, right? And there was some things done during the Obama administration that he can not fully take credit, though, although we all know that he was the man behind everything that Obama did, if you ask Joe. But that's the other thing, too, is there's a direct correlation between what some people will call the good old days, right? So, oh, yeah, another Obama term, basically, pretty much, too. And that might have helped him bring in a lot more consistently of the African-American voters, too, that were maybe longing for, the time of Obama. Right.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. As far as the African American vote, they simply trust Joe Biden.
Yeah,
they trust him. They know what he was all about with Obama, and they know that ticket is there. Ideologically, they know that they're hoping and they're banking on that's going to be roughly the same. And I even heard it from a guy in the South Carolina. He was a head of some, I forget, black voting group, and he just said, the big thing is that we know Joe and Joe knows us. Right, and that says it all. That says it all right there. And then Joe fucking cleaned house in that state, and so there's something to be said for that. And the voting came out that way. And the real point is whether Joe can have the black vote or whatever. The point that I really want to make is that a moderate Democrat speaks for the people much more than an AOC or a Bernie, just in general.
Which is really interesting too, because they would say the opposite, though, right? Like the extremes right now would say this guy is against the people. He is for big business. That's what they're saying about Joe Biden. That's what they said about Buttigieg too. So it's very interesting that you say that, because it seems like the very extreme left is going to point the finger the other way.
Well, I'm always going to roll it back to who gets the platform, who gets the airwaves, who gets the Twitter following, who gets the Facebook following, the Instagram, and all that. Those radical opinions that come out and that garner everyone's attention and make the headlines, that is like 1% of folks' beliefs. I mean, that's a very small group of people that are being the loudest voice. But again, once that curtain closes behind him, it's voting time, Joe Biden speaks to the mass majority of the Democratic Party, and we're seeing the primaries go accordingly.
You know what's interesting? I wonder what Pence does behind the curtain. And you might go ahead.
He prays.
Is he praying it away? Maybe.
I don't know. Okay. Maybe.
Verdict's out. Okay.
But and the same with some of the more conservative right. The people that get the votes are those people that more towards the middle, right? That's why you don't see the Tea Party being the majority of the Republican Party right now. And then they never have. They had a little bit going about 10 years ago, and they started getting a little bit of momentum, but then that just went away. And they're a fringe subsect of the Republican Party, and that's all they're ever going to be.
Same thing with the KKK, I mean, just a small little subset.
Just a small little fringe subsect, But yeah, that's kind of it. Stiffies, please be mindful of what you see on the news. The people with the loudest voices are rarely the people with, the people behind them, right?
Yeah,
with the votes.
And sometimes people that are really loud, they're not always the smartest folks either, and they don't always have the best plans. I mean, I can speak to that personally. I'm very loud. I'm fucking dumb as rocks. So.
That's not fair to rocks.
Oh, I love how you support me, Bob. I do. I do.
I'm
Thanks
there for you.
always keeping me grounded, sir. Well, I think on that note, I'm getting thirsty, Bob.
Yeah, I'm super thirsty. Let's go make a stiff one, and we'll come back and we'll talk about our very fun stiff truth.
Yeah. See you guys in a few.
See ya.
All right, Bobby, and we're back.
We are.
Back in action with our stiff cocktail.
You know, that took a minute. I had to eyeball it and taste it and add some things and taste it. And
Well, this is not like, it's not a Jack and Coke, bro. It's not like an easy pour. You know, sometimes this takes a little finesse. This is like a recipe, this one almost.
yeah, it is. And this week, everyone, we are doing some Bloody Marys. Look at that.
Yeah, bloody buddies.
That.
You
Got
can't see
garnish
it.
on
My olives have fallen to the bottom already. You ready for this?
I love a Bloody Mary. You know, it's like it's like a liquor stew. You just you just throw it in there and make like a soup. You spice it up. You know, you just a little bit of steak sauce or Worcestershire or something in there. It's just whatever.
Dude, get it going, and it's phenomenal when you gotta hair the dog it. You know what I mean? Just like when you gotta get in there and treat a hangover. It's the best, and it's probably the most acceptable and tasty AM cocktail too. You know what I mean?
Well, I can tell you this. I completely agree with that. I love a breakfast bloody.
Oh my god, dude! I even like having brunch very early in the morning if I can, 6:37, and I have a big Bloody Mary with two shots. Give me two.
Yeah, I don't know. I just poured vodka in there until I felt that was enough vodka for what I wanted to drink.
Until the color of red was just right, just light enough.
Well, so I started off with vodka, and then I threw in the Tapatio to spice that up. Lots of it. So then it was just vodka with Tapatio. It didn't look very appealing. And then I threw in some steak sauce in there, right? And then I added my Mr. and Mrs. T, mix.
You know what I should have put in there and I forgot because I put some Cholula in there, but I've got some 505 chopped green chili, like almost as a green chili salsa. That would have been kind of good in there, I bet.
That's delicious.
Oh. There we go.
I mean, there's like probably 3 shots of vodka in that glass, but it doesn't taste like it. And it doesn't taste like a stiff drink, even though I know that it is, and it's going to be. So
it's phenomenal. I am ready to rock and roll.
Me too. This drink is
baby.
fantastic. Mm-hmm. We say that almost every week, though.
But you know what? We like our drinks, sir. I don't think it's a lie.
We do. And I'm pretty sure most of our stiffies do as well.
We may like them too much.
Just slurping away on air. Look at me go.
I'm over here spilling shit on myself. Good stuff.
Get in there.
That is a good one, though. That is a tasty beverage.
Should we jump right into the stiff truth?
I don't know. You want a little bit of foreplay before we jump into that?
I mean, sometimes you got to fondle it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can shoot the shit about what I was just thinking about actually. Real quick. I don't want to get back. What?
Oh, nothing. I was just going to say I don't think gay sex is on the notes, but
damn it! God, I can't even surprise you with anything these days. I'm an open gay book, let me tell you. But no, what I was thinking about, which was interesting to me, I was making my drink, and this is weird. I have some of the strangest, most out there ideas or just ponders when I'm doing weird, mundane tasks, making a cocktail, taking a shower, is when I tend to really think about weird shit.
That's when the good ideas come.
Yeah, I think so. So I was sitting there, I was like, you know what? This coronavirus thing is really fucking up a lot of industries. A lot of people have lost their jobs. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh, what's going on with all the porn stars? What are they doing? Man. If you think about it, there's a couple of them that didn't make a movie every single day last week. Like they usually do.
They got royalties coming though. They're okay because those things are shooting up like crazy right now.
That's true. I didn't think about that. There's probably a little bit more people doing.
I've got another monitor with one going right now.
That's true. But and then I started thinking to myself. I was like, well, what if they start doing? Because it is kind of a fetish, I guess. What if they do like pandemic porn? Like maybe that's the thing that they start doing at first for safety precautions, and then they realize people are really into it more than midget sex. You know what I mean? So they start doing it a lot more, and it becomes like a whole channel
with masks on.
Oh yeah, with masks, with surgical like gowns that people are uprooting. They're wearing latex gloves, dude. They're playing with like Clorox and hand sanitizer and different things like that in weird ways.
You just described the scene out of Fight Club.
Oh, when hey, you want to finish her off? Yes.
I've been fucked like that since grade school.
Yeah, and he answers the door all like naked with like those big ass rubber gloves. It's a great movie.
That's what they're doing right now. That's the kind of stuff, the content that they're making.
Will I get in trouble if I tell the Stiffies that Fight Club is a great movie if they haven't seen it? I don't want to get dinged again.
YouTube might get us, dude.
All right. Well, there's a movie out there with Brad Pitt and Edward Norton in the late 90s, 1999. It's a phenomenal movie. If you can figure out what that is, go watch it.
But don't tell anyone about it.
And his name is Robert Paulson.
Speaking of YouTube getting us, just in case. It was recently that came to our attention when we were talking that not all of the Stiffies have made the connection to our YouTube channel and our podcast. So just wanted to be thorough and make sure that we're all on the same Stiff page here. We simulcast our podcast releases as a podcast on all the major podcast distributors, but we also have an actual television show of our podcast simultaneously going up on YouTube on release days. So if you watch on YouTube, you actually get the TV show of our podcast, not just the audio.
Yeah, and for some reason, just highlighting that felt necessary. Not that we're saying the Stiffies can't put two and two together. If you listen to our conversations, there's definitely hinting that we are talking about video that people can see on YouTube here and there. But I don't think we've really underlined that we do have a YouTube show version of the podcast on video. And I think the biggest glaring thing is like we've got 34 subscribers, but almost 200 likes and followers on our Facebook page. And then there's a lot of people listening on the platforms exclusively too. And maybe that's their preference, but I just want people to know that it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to watch us too.
Yeah, especially since there's not a whole lot of commuting going on lately.
No.
So if you do want to watch the show, by all means, if you just
switch it
go
up.
to the Stiff Truth on YouTube and go to our channel, all of the episodes are definitely there. Now, episode 1 is just audio.
So there's really no point to watch that one if you're going to YouTube.
Right.
Yes.
But after episode 1, episode 2 forward is all different flavors of the show. And it's kind of fun watching them because not only am I, our biggest fan, but you get to see the progression of how we do things and how things have improved over every episode. And that's kind of fun to see.
We're trying to do better every single time, guys. And all kidding aside, though, you see that with the video too, which is great. It's gotten more fun, and it's going to just get more and more fun. And I want people to see it. I want people to see it too. Now, here's one thing I thought about too. I was like, maybe they just don't like looking at us because we're just really, really ugly guys. That's fine. I get it. You can see all my pores. Whatever. Okay.
But you do have to watch the show to find that out.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I have to blow my nose. I put a little too much Tapatio on my Bloody Mary.
Yeah, watch out, buddy. Watch out with your bloody buddy. Don't get a bloody nose, buddy.
It's getting me. It's actually like slowing down my consumption rate. It's so spicy. So good for me.
Whoa. That's dangerous, bro.
I know. I'm like, I gotta wipe my brow here. It's
remember
right there.
Remember, dab. Don't wipe. Dab.
Just give it a little dabby.
Yeah, you don't want to smear your makeup that we're wearing, obviously, because we're on set.
Yeah.
Oh, fun stuff, man. But no, again, YouTube channel, fun stuff. It is. But I think.
Speaking of YouTube, we just had a Stiffy achieve a milestone.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think we should. I think we should give him his proper acknowledgement.
Yes.
You wanna elaborate on that?
I do want to elaborate on that. A good friend of mine that does reactions to songs. Poss, the boss.
The
Correct?
boss.
Yes, that's right. Poss the boss.
He's the boss indeed.
He is the boss, my friend. I'll tell you what. I've known this lovely gentleman for 5-6 years now, and he started doing his reactions. I want to say, man, Guido, don't hold me to this, but I want to say a little bit over a year, maybe a little bit more. But something I'm sure was very slow moving for a while for him, but just stayed determined. And the guy now is killing it on YouTube. He just passed over 1,000 subscribers. I think from yesterday to today, he got like another 60. Yeah, it was just the
80 slow clap. 80 slow clap.
And then speed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Woo! No, again. So you guys got to check him out, man. Not only does he have an amazing taste in music, and I think that's
For
really,
sure.
yeah, and that was our original connection, anyways. Our both of our favorite band is the same, Deftones, just so you guys know. But beyond that, he's really good at finding great music and finding local bands from across the world and really just feeling it, man. I mean, he's a musician himself, and I've been watching his show for a while, and the quality there is dramatic from when he started. So it's just very impressive, man. It's very impressive. As we know, it can definitely take a lot to get subscribers on YouTube, and to be over 1,000, and now kind of that's when let's just face it, that's when the floodgates are opening up for him, right? So it's just really exciting because now, so many more people are going to be exposed to what he does and just his creative outlet, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, and I agree. I was checking out his channel the other day, and he's just lots of good music. There's so many good like underground bands that I can go dig into, and it's fun. I can watch a show and then go look at bands that I've never heard of, but hear a badass song and be like, all right, I got to go find out more of them, right? So, congrats, Poss the Boss, on your 1,000 subscribers. He's also, we had a conversation with him. He's graciously accepted to come on to the show.
Yes.
And do an interview, so he will be our first interviewee.
Ooh,
so we are looking
guys.
forward to that in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So you guys will get to hear from the boss himself.
Yeah, we're about to pop our interview cherry, guys. It's going to be pretty exciting stuff, and no better person, if you ask me to do it with, than our boy here, Poss. So
Agreed. Great guy. I enjoyed meeting him.
Yes, virtually, because we all have to do that right now, guys. Remember, stay at home. Okay.
So, I think in the relating to staying home and us having our drink, let's talk about the stiff truth. We really had some fun coming up with this stiff truth because it's right up our alleys.
He needs that too. No puns, no inside things. This is right up our alley.
Today we're going to talk about the best liquor, the best wines, and type, not brand, and the best type of beer.
Ooh, this is a juicy one. Yeah, man.
It is. I'm sure we're going to disagree on almost everything, but let's see. And I know one thing that we're probably going to agree on.
Well, this will be surprising because we did not really prep this one with too much dialogue about what we thought. So yeah, sure. There is that
thing. It's best if it just comes out.
Sure. That's what she said.
Yeah.
I had to try one. It's been a while since I've said that.
I just had flashbacks of Michael at the office.
But yeah, no, this definitely be an interesting one because everybody can sit here and say, okay, yeah, these guys have known each other for 20 plus years, so obviously they probably know a lot about what each other drink. But you know what I drank 20 years ago is not what I'm drinking today. It's not.
So 30 packs of Budweiser and like whatever's the cheapest booze in a plastic bottle doesn't do it for you anymore?
I've kind of changed my palate a little bit. I guess it's a little bit more refined, I guess you could say, than half gallons of Evan Williams and Bud Light. So, yeah, we've taken a step up there. But let's go ahead and start. I say we start from the top, meaning let's start with liquor.
Okay.
Let's go with your favorite and your least favorite.
Well,
because remember, there's a least favorite here. We don't hate any type of alcohol. I want to highlight that.
So, I mean, I'm going to go with affordable here. I'm not going to do like the 15-year McKellen's or anything.
Christ, here we go with that shit.
I'm not going to go with, a $70 bottle of booze because obviously, yeah. So,
well, practical Bob. We're
going to go quarantine levels of expense here, and probably not even that. One of my favorites is just a Woodford Reserve.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to stay away from brands, but that's okay. We can do that with liquor. You got to kind of do that with liquor. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's whiskey, it's bourbon, but it's aged, it's good. So I guess if we were just going to go overall, an aged bourbon, not too long that you can't afford it or that you have to like do favors for Pence to get it. You just I
don't know why we're attacking Pence so much, but I love it.
But I think Woodford's like $35 a fifth, and I want to say it's like 4 or 5 years old or something like that. But it's very smooth. It's a bourbon that you can drink out of the bottle and you can drink it neat.
Yeah,
and that's the test. That's the taste test, right?
Okay. Yeah. No, I love that. Now, what about your worst? Or least favorite, excuse me.
Least favorite booze? I'm probably going to have to go with gin.
Interesting.
Yeah, not a huge fan of gin.
Interesting. Tell me a little more about that.
There's not enough to really mix with it. I mean, you can make a martini.
It's not diverse enough. That's an interesting way to put it.
Because, if I'm just going, taste wise, whatever, it's like that and rum, just right out of the bottle, whatever. But rum is very versatile, right?
Oh, dude, anything citrus, anything tropical type deal, that's a rum drink, baby.
So and vodka too. That thing's a fucking camouflage.
That's
even tell vodka's in this Bloody Mary.
Yeah, vodka is kind of like the incredible edible egg version of liquor. You know what I mean? It just goes in everything. It can go in everything. Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, you can get with your wife and just hey, what do you want to drink? Well, I don't really feel like drinking liquor. Let me mix you up a vodka drink, and I'll fix you up something fantastic, and you won't even know it.
Yeah, we can go so many directions with vodka. It's good. Versatility does make a drink a little bit better, and gin does lack a lot of versatility in what it can do, right?
Yeah, so that's probably on the bottom of my list. Tequila's not very versatile either, but tequila I think also kind of tastes better because salt and a lime, some tequila, you can just drink that straight.
You know what's weird too about tequila is I don't necessarily like the taste, but there is something about the taste that makes me really fucking fired up. You know what I mean? It's almost like you handled it. You're like, oh, it's kind of like a
it's like burning the cut when you're in a war and you don't have time for proper medical care. You just
cauterizing.
You just burn that cut and I ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah, baby.
Right,
yeah. You know what's up. Yeah. And again, that was a great former politician from this great state of Minnesota that said that.
Governor Ventura.
Jesse Ventura. Yes. Okay. All right. So we got number one for you is a oak aged whiskey, right? Bourbon whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on the bottom, gin.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on this one, I am going to be that guy. I'm just going to act like I already got my stimulus check. Okay. I'm not really doing quarantine style or anything like that. And
way to be relatable.
Hey, I try to be like the common man. You know what I mean? That's my big
common man with your 25-year-old McCallum.
No, I'm not going to go crazy style on this one, but favorite for me, which is very interesting. I am a Scotch man. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, my favorite drink is not technically a Scotch whiskey. My favorite drink, and I'll be very specific, and I think unfortunately brands do matter in this conversation, especially when we're talking about liquor. Maybe not so much with wine. Wine I could probably keep to just, you know what I mean, varieties. But my favorite by far, and this is something I have need all the time, not very mixable.
I love how you're teasing it.
Yeah.
It's titillating. I can't wait for the answer here.
This is a tantric answer, is what it is. You know, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it soon, but not yet.
I'm like gripping my chair here. My toes are curled, buddy.
Well, I'm gripping something else, man. It's starting to turn purple, but but no. All seriousness, though, I only say this because it's in direct reference to what you were saying about, like, say, vodka and how versatile it is. Not very versatile either, but it is a single pot stilled Irish whiskey. Okay. That is my favorite, hands down. I have it neat all day long. I don't ever want to add anything to it. In fact, a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, was staying with me a while back, and he used this specific alcohol to make himself a whiskey and Coke, and I almost just lost my shit. But anyways, that's okay. Back to what we were talking about here. It is.
I always like for people to put sour mix in my like $60 bottle of whiskey.
Exactly. It's funny. Like, what are you doing? And by all means, I'm sure he didn't even know, or even know the.
Some people don't.
Yeah, and that's fine. I totally get it. But it is Redbreast Irish whiskey, single pot stilled Irish whiskey. And what's so weird about this one is, let's face it, the longer something is aged, usually the more refined and better its taste is. Mm-hmm. With Redbreast, there's a 12-year and a 14-year or 15-year. I can't remember. I think it's 12 and 15-year. But the 12-year is cheaper, and it tastes just a little bit smoother than the one that's $20 more, and that is, aged for an extra 3 or 4 years. Very weird that it happened, but again, I think that's what they did with this one. Whoever created this one, it's on the money, and age-wise, right at 12, you pluck that shit. It's perfect. On the rocks are neat, my friend. Best drink I've ever had, and I'll continue.
In the end, we have bonus for whiskey.
Yes. Different types of whiskey, though, because if you put a bourbon or sour mash in front of my face and have me have it neat, I am going to ask for a mixer.
Or at least some ice.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I'm because just something about the aftertaste opposed to a Scotch whiskey versus like an Irish whiskey even. Or like I can't do this with Jameson. You know what I mean? I cannot do what I was just talking about with other Irish whiskeys, which I think is very interesting. It has to be that single pot stilled version, which is basically like a single malt Scotch, version for an Irish whiskey. And then that specific year, too.
Now, that makes sense to me because, like Woodford, I can drink that straight pretty handily. But if you threw, like, a Jim Beam or a Jack, I'm going to sip that thing so slow and nurse it. It's gonna
and, dude, you're going to have a Coke or something like that.
Out.
Yeah, you're backing it up with something, dude, because if not, yeah, it's just a little too harsh for me. And I'm not trying to shit on Jack Daniels or Jim Beam, but it tastes like shit.
I crushed a handle like 2 weeks ago. Not Jim. Actually, don't buy Jim.
No, Jim to me is disgusting.
Yeah,
I don't buy Jim. I don't buy Southern Comfort anymore. There's certain things that I just don't buy after I think I've had enough.
Come on, dude. You don't buy Avalanche anymore?
No, I don't, bro. In fact, and getting to my worst, I'm glad that was a nice little actually kind of segue to my worst is
Hot Damn?
Close.
Ooh.
Close. But
lay it on me.
Fireball. Same thing.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, but the Fireball
cinnamon whiskey's nasty.
Yeah, Fireball whiskey, cinnamon whiskey, and I'm gonna say this too. Every other kind of nasty, fucked up like schnapps liqueur can be on the list too, but they're gonna be slightly higher.
I'm gonna say any sugar saturated booze is, is nasty.
Yeah, the farthest that'll go, and that I still like, and it's more of a nostalgic thing from a buddy of mine that I grew up with.
Let me guess. Goldschlager?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, dude.
I like
you nailed it.
Too.
I like Goldschlager too. My buddy Blair always had, or his dad had at least a fifth or two in the freezer at all times, and it was one of those great liqueurs. And that's also too where I got introduced to Jägermeister.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Jaeger too. I'm down for some Jaeger.
Ice cold Jaeger is great. Now, however, that was me in my 20s and 30s. I have like all kinds of Jägermeister that I've had for a while that I just don't touch.
I'm going to tell you this. I did throw a Jaeger in the freezer, pulled it out probably 2 or 3 months ago. Grabbed a few Red Bulls. Jaeger with a Red Bull back is still money.
Jaeger bombs.
All day.
I love it. Yeah, no, I mean, trust me, I still get down. But again, it's more of a special occasion. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Fireball. And in fact, like every time I've seen people bring it to my house and they're acting like fucking fools and shit, I'm like, this just kind of this drink has a stereotype too. I think like stupid, like ignorant
frat party.
Yeah, college kid, frat party style. Like right after I do my Fireball, I'm doing keg stands. I'm just picturing this, you know what I mean? This kind of stuff. And then we're making fun of gay people just because, that's what we do. But yeah, so I don't know. That's on my lowest list. Interesting that you said gin, though, because gin, out of all of the regular type of liquors, because cinnamon, Fireball is like a specialty drink. Again, like this the sweet liqueurs,
it's
kind
like
of, you know what I mean?
Strong schnapps.
Yeah, it's like a strong schnapps. But I think we have the same bottom if we talk about regular varieties.
So, gin, huh? Ginger
Gin.
bottom.
Gin, which my wife loves gin. She loves gin, but she likes to just do it, and she likes to shoot it. She likes gin martinis. You know what I mean?
Did she get the Aviation, the Ryan Reynolds gin?
I don't know if she has, but she loves Ryan Reynolds. So now that if she doesn't know that, I mean, I'm buying that like tomorrow. But
that's Aviation or Aviator or something. Ryan, please send me a bottle so we can nail that down.
Yeah, nice, buddy. I like what you did there. But no, I think her favorite. She's gonna listen to this and probably tell me I'm wrong, but I think it's Bombay Sapphire.
No, that's a very popular martini gin too.
Yeah, so it's and I will say this: it's okay tasting, but out of all the other alcohols out there, why do you have to taste like pine needles? And who thought of that? And like, what's the deal there? Like, you know what I mean? Just gin in general. Like, that's why it's not versatile. It's such a weird.
I'll tell you what, if we're in like month 3 of quarantine and all I have is a handle of gin, I'll come around.
Yeah. Again, like I said before we started this, we don't hate any alcohol. We just have a least favorite. We will show you all love when it comes time, and when I mean that is like when we run out of everything else.
True story. Let's move on to wine.
Okay. All right.
Let's start with our worst. I don't like sweet wines. Like I'm gonna say probably Riesling or White Zin.
Okay. So you don't like white sweets?
I just don't really like any sweets, really. But if it was going to be a red sweet or a white sweet, yeah, I don't like white sweets.
Okay, gotcha. So more of your Rieslings and Pinot Grigios and stuff like that. The sweeter whites are off the table for you.
It's for the chicks, man. It's
Whoa. Or Mike Pence.
Sorry, that's true.
I'm sorry, Mike. I don't really think you're gay. I don't know why I keep doing that. It's just fun.
I think it's because we know that he's in such staunch opposition of the lifestyle. So we like to prod and poke the bear a little bit on that.
We do. It's like calling the guy that's the big bouncer tiny. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Same kind of thing.
So, my favorite.
Here we go.
Actually,
Here we go.
It's probably a split. And nothing crazy. No, I'm not going to, there's 20-year-old. No, I don't give a shit about all that. Yeah, probably like 2 or 3-year-old. Let's keep it within reason. A good $30 bottle of a red Zin. Ooh. A good, earthy, you can kind of taste the dirt in the old vine, kind of a red Zin. Give me that and a stogie all day.
That sounds fantastic. I'm actually salivating for wine, which is interesting because I'm drinking an amazing cocktail right now. But yeah,
I was. I mean,
hey, settle down, Bob. Settle down.
I know.
I can't. It's just too tasty. No, I get it. No, that's a good lineup there, bud. Good lineup. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go a little bit different of a direction, but not too far, I don't think. But with me, if we're going my least favorite, and I will backtrack on what I said earlier because I like flip-flopping. I do actually.
Easy there, John Kerry. Calm down.
Oh, that's a 2004 reference, everybody.
Taken aback.
Holy shit. But yeah, if I was going to be John Kerry about this one, I would marry an heiress to the Hines family. No, talking again. Now you got me off track because I started thinking John Kerry. Jesus, I am not good at keeping focus, am I?
It's the ADD.
Oh, look, there's a bird. No, but seriously, I'm going to go with saying I actually do hate this alcohol, meaning I will not drink it. Even if I run out of everything, it's going to be hard pressed to get me to drink this. Okay. This is how much I don't like.
You've teased it. You've got me. I'm here. I'm with you.
Tractor beam sucked me right in. But seriously, and that is ports and other dessert wines.
Okay.
Oh my God. Why would I want to have like fucking red syrup and chocolate syrup mixed into my wine? What the fuck is that shit? It's the most, it's like cough syrup wine is basically what ports and other dessert wines. Now, I know people like them in small doses after their dinner, blah, 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 blah. I'm disgusted with them. They're appalling to me, and I'm ashamed that they're a part of the alcohol family.
So I went out on like a manager dinner, right? No expenses, it was get whatever the fuck you want, right?
Ooh, nice.
And then after dinner, everyone's ordering like $40, like 25-year-old shots of port wine, right? And everyone's taking them. And I ordered like an espresso. I was like, no, I'm good. I'll have a coffee. I don't know about a $40 shot of wine. Y'all do it up, but I'm with you on that. It's just, I don't know. It's just unnecessary. It's frivolous.
Yeah, it is. It's dumb. Eat the fucking cake and then have a real glass of wine, or just have that, whatever.
Well, just man up and get you another fucking, whiskey rocks, and don't do dessert because you have balls.
Oh, well, I mean, just tell it how it is, Bob. I mean, this is the stiff truth, bro. So you got to lay it down like that sometimes, right? No, but okay. Now flipping the script here. Obviously, I hate dessert wines. That's just not my bag of tea. If we're going my favorite wine, and trying not to think about price or bottle or vintage, or things like that, I'm actually gonna go with a Cabernet.
Okay.
I am going to go with that. Now, I was waffling for a minute. I was thinking maybe Pinot Noir, too.
That's a good one. It's high on my list.
And it really depends on what mood I am, honestly. If I'm having like a cigar-type mood, things like that, in that setting, I'm going to go with a Cab. If I'm just going for straight wine appreciation, I'm probably going to go with a Pinot Noir. But if somebody had to ask me, hey, man, I'm going to go get some wine, what kind do you want? And there was just nothing else to the conversation, I'd probably say, get me a Cab.
Okay. Let's move on to beer.
Okay. You're up. You're up, slugger.
Oh. Worst beer.
And don't just go for the cheapest either.
No, it's not the cheapest. It's a type.
Good. I like this already. Here we go.
My palate has changed drastically since the old 30-pack days of Bud Light.
We've dubbed these the J10 days. Nobody knows.
They are the
means.
J10 days. So if you ever need reference, the J10 days. I don't like our normal domestic light fucking beer.
Interesting.
Like a Coors Light. Yes, I will drink it if I'm at a ball game or something and I need a beer and I don't want to pay $18 for a fucking Jack and Coke. But
hey, who doesn't want to do that?
But as far as like high up on my beer list, no, that's the worst. And I think that most of the world will agree that domestic American beers, macro brews, are fucking terrible. So yeah, that's your Budweiser, your Coors Light, and it doesn't have to be cheap. You don't have to be all Bush beer. It's all the same. It's all the same. It's even like the same like 3 companies. So
it really is.
That's my worst. If you want to,
you going through puberty?
Yeah, and dude, it's the spice. I'm telling you, it's tough, man.
Sorry, I just caught that for a minute. It was fun.
I'm surprised. I'm waiting for the hiccups. So that's probably the worst. And again, I like most alcohol, so I would drink it. But
Sure.
as
Sure.
far as preference, I want to say that my favorite is probably a good amber. I like a good amber beer. I'm not an IPA guy. I don't like chewing hops when I fucking drink my beer. I just
But you got a mustache.
right.
So doesn't that come with the territory? IPA beer, mustache. I mean, isn't that the hipster thing?
I don't like IPAs.
Interesting.
I'm more of a dark beer guy. I like ambers. I like bocks and double bocks.
He likes his beer like he likes his men, folks.
I like Guinness. I like milk stouts. I just the lighter usually the worst for me, except for a Belgian white. That's my light beer exception. I fucking love Belgian white beer, but not as much as I love a good smooth amber.
Okay. Okay. I like that. So we got an amber ale as Bob's number one.
We know
beer.
way too much about booze, by the way.
Well, I think that's fitting for our show. I think
For
that's
real. For real.
So we got an amber ale for Bob on the top. Biggest negative is a standard domestic light beer, light lager. Excuse me, light lager.
It's light lager. Yeah.
It's a light lager. Okay. Well, I'm up then, and it's going to be a little bit different here. Worst beer for me.
Let's talk beers.
And there's one company that does them. There's one company that does them famously that actually is pretty decent. But anytime you throw a fucking brown ale at me, I'm going to throw it right back at you.
A nut brown.
Yeah, get that fucking shit out of there. The only one that does a decent one is Newcastle, and that's stretching for me because I just don't like brown ales. I do like dark beers too. I actually like light beers as well. That depends on the beer. But for some reason, anything that is a brown ale, I'm just going to just automatically send right back to you. Everything I've had, like the coffee brown ales and this and that, just fucking disgusting, bro. I don't need that kind of weird, heavy aftertaste in my beer. So I just can't stand brown ales. That's probably my number one right out of the gate.
Neither can Trump.
Cheers.
Anyway.
But the other thing I'm gonna add to the list here. The other thing that I just don't like anymore, and I used to as a kid. Maybe it's because it's just what was popular. What do you? I just lost what it's actually called. Oh, malt liquor.
Oh,
Malt liquor.
yeah.
Malt liquor. Like
That's bad.
having like a Mickey's 40 or a Steel Reserve or something like
some
that.
OE.
Yeah. The best tasting, the best.
But that's not beer, is it?
Maybe it's its own category, but I'm just thinking of it. It's something again I'll never get again. You know what I mean? I got it a lot when I was a teenager, and that's like a get for my pullout and thing like that.
Oh,
but
yeah, some Mickey's grenades.
yeah, give me a 6-pack of grenades. But yeah, at this point
Oh
in time
man,
in my life,
do you remember like Mickey's grenade and like a Captain Morgan Boilermaker?
oh, I do.
Oh my god, what were we thinking?
I don't know, but that makes my head hurt, and I have a little bit of throw up in the back of my mouth right now.
We were idiots. We didn't know how to drink when we were 20. It's
No.
stupid.
And we wasted.
I mean, 21 kids. It's 20.
Yeah, 20. I wasn't 19 either. No.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm gonna throw that out there too. Is malt liquor is just something? Again, I'm thinking about something I'd never order at a restaurant or bar. You know what I mean? It's like, give me a malt liquor. Fuck no. no, and give me a brown ale. That's not gonna ever come out of my mouth. Flipping the script. I have a favorite type of beer, but I've also got a go-to that I buy. Just like as, if I'm having ordering anxiety, I'm like, okay, I'm always good with this, that kind of beer. I'll start with my favorite type of beer. My favorite type of beer, and some of the stiffies are probably going to have to look this up, which I think is fun. But there's a style of beer that's called English bitters, right? And the most notable one, and a lot of these,
have to look that up.
yeah. And the most notable one is, well, there's two ways to make beer outside of ailing it. It's lagering or doing a bitter. So you either have a lager or a bitter if it's a lighter beer. It's interesting. But the most notable one to me, and my favorite one, is a Boddington's Pub Ale. I'm not sure if you've had Boddingtons before, but it's a nitro-charged English bitters, light English bitters.
No, but that sounds like something that we need to go through together when quarantine is over.
We do. That's my favorite style of beer. Once I realized that Boddington's was an English bitter, I was like, why do I fucking love this beer so much, dude? And don't get me wrong, it's not very strong. It's probably 4.8 to 5. You know what I mean? It's a lighter colored beer, but it comes out very frothy like a Guinness because it's also nitro charged, right? So that already has a unique flavor. It doesn't
the consistency.
Yeah, the consistency and then the flavor of a bitter is it doesn't bite your throat like a lager or an ale as much at all.
Just contrary to the name.
Yeah. It's very interesting, right? So then I started looking up other beers that were also considered English bitters. What is it? Something Old Hen or something like that. They're all Scottish and like English beers. You know what I mean? Because that's where that.
I've heard of Old Hen.
Yeah, Old Hen. And there's a couple other ones that are also considered English bitters, and they're usually nitro charged. They're always the best if they're nitro charged.
They have the little ball in there.
Yeah, they have the little ball, or you just get them right from the tap as a nitrogen tap instead of a CO2 tap. But they're great beers. They're hands down. My wife knows too. If we're going out and we're like having a really good time, we're getting a couple 4-packs of fucking Boddingtons, just in the mix. And like, oh, you got Boddington? Fuck yeah! It's always like a celebratory type deal.
Yeah,
they're not cool. It's not super expensive. They come in like a little bit over pints, 4 packs for $7.50 or something like that. They're not crazy. You know what I mean? So again, just a very unique and it broke me away from like the standard type of beers. You know what I mean? As an American, right? Because that's my number one is English bitter. Number one on it is Boddington's, and then my go-to beer is a Stella Artois.
Yeah, that's a good one. I can't argue with Stella. Just like I said, what is it? Hoegaarden. Hoegaarden.
Yeah,
that's one of my like favorites. Just go grab a 6-pack.
That's Belgian white. That's a nice beer. And I gotta tell you though, like Stella again. Technically it's like Belgium's version of what Budweiser tried to do with a regular Budweiser beer, and they just just swung and missed badly.
In fact, they bought it. They own it.
Yeah, InBev does. Yeah.
So good for them.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. If you guys want to throw us your favorite boozes and your hated and loathed boozes and beers and wines, please let us know. Comment below or send us a message on Facebook or post or something. We'll get it out there. Open up the conversation because this is a fun one. It's always nice to have a lighthearted conversation, especially right now. Shit's fucked, but it'll get better. So hang in there. We're doing the same.
That was very inspirational, Bob, by the way.
Shit's fucked, so hang in there.
But remember,
heard it here first, folks.
Rainbows and sunshine, Bob over there. Let me tell you what.
Very optimistic. Shit's fucked, hang in there. It needs to be a bumper sticker. Right? It's going to be a Stiff Truth T-shirt.
Hey, that's a bumper sticker for 2020 so far, man. But hey, yeah, you're right. We'll get through it.
So, and that's it. Unless you have anything else to add, Scott.
Take us away, buddy.
Well, again, like us and subscribe, ring the bell, watch us on YouTube if you want to see the television show version of this podcast, or just continue consuming it in whatever media you want. I don't really care. I just want you guys listening. I appreciate all your time. Thank you, Stiffies. We love you. I'm Bob West. I'm here with Scott Casanova, and we will see you next week.
Take it easy, guys. Stiff up.
I don't know. I don't even know who ZV is. Let's get it.